Being the victim of crime can profoundly affect a man's mental health, often in ways that are hidden, misunderstood, or ignored. While physical injuries may heal, the psychological aftermath can last for months or even years. Men are frequently conditioned to appear strong, unemotional, and self-reliant, which can make the emotional impact of victimhood even more difficult to process. Many men never speak openly about what happened to them, and instead carry the trauma silently. Crime does not only steal property, safety, or freedom, it can steal confidence, identity, trust, stability, and peace of mind. Let's get into it. 1. The shattering of safety. One of the most immediate psychological effects of being victimized is the destruction of a person's sense of safety. Before a crime occurs, most people move through life with an invisible assumption. Bad things happen to other people. When a man becomes the victim of assault, robbery, abuse, burglary, fraud, stalking, or violence, that illusion collapses. Suddenly, the world no longer feels predictable or secure. A man who was mugged while walking home may become hyper-alert in public spaces. A victim of a violent assault may constantly scan rooms for danger. Someone whose home was broken into may never again feel fully relaxed in his own house. 2. Places that once felt normal become associated with fear. This can lead to hypervigilance, anxiety in crowded places, sleep disturbances, panic attacks, avoidance behaviors, chronic stress responses. The brain essentially becomes stuck in survival mode. Trauma and PTSD. Many male victims of crime develop symptoms of psychological trauma, and in severe cases, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. PTSD is not limited to soldiers or war survivors. Violent crime can produce similar neurological and emotional responses. Symptoms may include flashbacks, nightmares, emotional numbness, irritability, sudden anger, difficulty concentrating, intrusive memories, fear of leaving home, startled responses to noise or confrontation. A man who has experienced armed robbery may relive the moment repeatedly. A stabbing victim may replay the attack in his head every night. A victim of sexual assault may dissociate emotionally from relationships and intimacy. Trauma changes how the nervous system interprets danger. Even after the threat is gone, the body may continue behaving as if danger is everywhere. 3. Shame in the male identity. For many men, being victimized can deeply wound their sense of masculinity and identity. Society often teaches men that they should be able to protect themselves, stay in control, never appear weak, fight back, handle problems alone. When a man becomes a victim, especially of violent crime, he may experience overwhelming shame. He may think, I should have stopped it. I should have fought harder. I failed. People will see me as weak. This is especially severe in cases involving sexual assault, domestic abuse, bullying, public humiliation, fraud scams, coercive control. Male victims are often less likely to report crimes because they fear ridicule, disbelief, or embarrassment. Some men internalize the trauma rather than expressing it emotionally. Instead of crying or discussing fear, they may become aggressive, withdraw socially, abuse substances, overwork, isolate themselves emotionally. The pain exists, but it emerges differently. 4. Depression after victimization. Crime can leave men feeling powerless, violated, and emotionally broken. Over time, this can evolve into depression. The victim may lose motivation, confidence, trust in others, interest in hobbies, emotional connection with loved ones. Many victims begin asking existential questions. Why did this happen to me? Am I weak? Will I ever feel normal again? Depression following victimization often includes emotional numbness, persistent sadness, hopelessness, fatigue, self-blame, suicidal thoughts. 5. Men are statistically less likely to seek mental health support, meaning symptoms may worsen in silence. Anger and revenge fantasies. One of the most overlooked effects of crime on male mental health is rage. Victimhood can produce intense anger. Anger at the criminal, anger at society, anger at police or the justice system, anger at oneself. Some men become consumed by revenge fantasies or obsessive thinking about retaliation. This is often the mind's attempt to reclaim power after feeling helpless. Unprocessed anger can lead to violence, relationship breakdowns, road rage, substance abuse, emotional instability. Others suppress the anger entirely until it emerges in destructive ways years later. 6. Trust issues and social withdrawal. Crime frequently damages a man's ability to trust people. After betrayal, violence, or manipulation, victims may begin seeing everyone as a potential threat. Examples include Fraud victims becoming paranoid about finances. Assault victims distrusting strangers. Domestic abuse victims struggling with intimacy. Stalking victims feeling constantly watched. This can result in isolation, loneliness, social anxiety, relationship difficulties, emotional detachment. Some men become emotionally guarded to protect themselves from future harm, but emotional isolation often worsens mental health over time. 7. Financial and life consequences. Crime can create devastating secondary stressors. Victims may lose employment, savings, housing stability, physical mobility, educational opportunities. Fraud and financial crimes are especially psychologically destructive because victims often feel humiliated and ashamed. A man who loses his life savings to a scam may experience severe depression, identity collapse, anxiety about survival, fear of judgment, suicidal ideation. The emotional impact is often underestimated because the injuries are not visible. 8. Substance abuse and self-destruction. Many men cope with trauma by numbing themselves. Alcohol, drugs, gambling, reckless behavior, compulsive work, or emotional detachment can become coping mechanisms. Temporary relief becomes long-term damage. Some men develop alcohol dependency, drug addiction, aggression problems, risk-taking behaviors, self-harm tendencies. Instead of addressing trauma directly, they attempt to outrun it. But unresolved trauma usually resurfaces eventually. The hidden victims, men who never speak. A major issue surrounding male victims of crime is silence. Many men never disclose what happened to them. Reasons include fear of appearing weak, fear of disbelief, fear of mockery, cultural expectations, trauma-related avoidance. This silence can become psychologically corrosive. When trauma is buried rather than processed, it can manifest physically and emotionally through chronic anxiety, insomnia, emotional detachment, anger problems, health deterioration, relationship collapse. The man survives the crime, but parts of him remain psychologically trapped in the experience. 9. Recovery and healing. Recovery from crime-related trauma is possible, but it usually requires support, acknowledgement, and time. Healing often begins when victims realize their reactions are normal trauma responses. Being victimized does not make them weak. Emotional pain deserves treatment. Isolation worsens suffering. Helpful recovery approaches can include trauma-informed therapy, support groups, exercise and physical regulation, honest conversations, stable routines, rebuilding social trust, mindfulness and grounding techniques. For some men, healing also involves redefining masculinity itself, understanding that strength is not emotional silence, but the courage to confront pain honestly. Crime victimization by age, England and Wales. According to the UK Office for National Statistics, around 1 in 6 adults, 16.1%, experienced crime in the year ending March 2023. The highest victimization rate was among people aged 16 to 24, with 19.5% experiencing crime. Crime victimization generally decreases with age. Age range estimated victimization trend. 16-24 highest risk, 25-34 very high, 35-44 moderate, 45-54 moderate, 55-64 lower, 65 plus lowest overall victimization rate. Violent crime statistics. The ONS found younger men are disproportionately affected by violent crime. Ages most affected by violence. Adults aged 16 to 24 were the most likely to experience violent crime. Men were more likely than women to experience stranger violence, acquaintance violence, public assaults. People aged 20-29 made up roughly 13% of the population, but represented 25 to 26% of violent crime victims. Domestic abuse against men. While women statistically experience higher rates overall, millions of male victims exist. The ONS estimated in 2024, 3.0% of men experienced domestic abuse in a single year. Around 2 million men in England and Wales experienced domestic abuse, stalking, or sexual assault in a recent reporting period. Many experts believe male victimization is significantly underreported due to shame, fear of ridicule, fear of not being believed, masculinity stigma, stalking and harassment. Younger people were again the most affected. ONS data showed the highest stalking victimization rates were among 16 to 19-year-olds, 8.8%. Men experienced stalking at a rate of 2.3%. Knife crime in young men. Knife crime disproportionately affects younger males. Recent UK reporting found 83% of teenage homicide victims were killed with knives in 2023-24. Around half of all male homicide victims were killed using sharp instruments. This is one reason why trauma, PTSD, hypervigilance, and anxiety are increasingly discussed among young men in urban areas. Childhood abuse and long-term mental health. Crime and victimization in childhood often create lifelong psychological effects. ONS-linked figures estimated around 26.4% of men experienced some form of abuse during childhood. Emotional abuse was the most common form. Research consistently links childhood victimization to depression, addiction, aggression, PTSD, suicide risk, relationship instability. The statistics show a very clear pattern. Younger men are statistically more likely to become victims of violence, assault, robbery, knife crime, and public attacks, precisely during the years when identity, confidence, and mental stability are still developing. Final thoughts. Being the victim of crime can fundamentally alter how a man sees himself, other people, and the world around him. The damage is often invisible, but deeply real. Crime attacks more than the body or bank account. It attacks security, trust, identity, confidence, peace of mind. Many male victims suffer quietly because society still struggles to recognize male vulnerability. But psychological trauma does not discriminate by gender. A man can survive a crime physically while still carrying emotional scars for years afterward. And sometimes the hardest part is pretending he is fine when he is not. If this resonates with you, please feel free to leave a comment. Thank you all for watching. See you all next time.